Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the 7th ward of 133, and basically that's fighting from the long point. So basically the long point is you're presenting the blade out, and for the most part, regardless of where we start, like even if we start from here, we sort of end up in that position in almost all the plays. And if you look at like even like Liglinser, a lot of the fighting is from that position, and I've done some prior videos on Liglinser's plays, sword and buckler, and applying it to shield. You guys should check that out. And also, if you guys are not familiar with Lichtenauer's longsword, you should also familiarize yourself with that because he does a lot of fighting from the long point. A lot of his cuts basically terminate at the long point, and there's a lot of fighting from there. And all of that can be applied to the sword and buckler. Okay, a lot of it's very simpler. With the sword and buckler, for the most part, most of the time when we're striking, regardless of where we are, our hands are together. So this is primarily it's like almost as if we're fighting with a two-handed sword, or a long sword, and then we have the ability to disconnect. Sometimes, like if we want to stuff somebody's defense, so we have the ability to disconnect. But for the most part, a lot of times we're fighting the sword and buckler together. So that's very similar to the long sword. So there's a lot of stuff in that system that will transfer over to this, okay, and fighting specifically from the long point. So the long point is probably the guard that has the most amount of information out there on it. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff for you guys to study, and I'm really not going to spend that much time on sword and buckler long point. I'm actually going to talk a little bit about the about fighting sword and shield, because over here I have a large shield, and this here represents a sword, basically, right? I'm using this so you guys can see it better. So regardless of whether I'm using a shield or a buckler, the thing to be aware of is that with the large shield, if I strike, let's say I strike here, I come into the long point, I'm now in a position to trap my opponent's sword against his shield, okay? And I can do it for that because he's got a long edge. With my small buckler, basically, it's a lot easier. If somebody tries to trap my sword against my buckler, it's a lot easier for me to pull it out, to escape, to roll out of it. With the larger shield, if you attack and terminate in long point, your opponent is basically going to trap you, bind you. He's going to control you with their shield, and then attack you wherever he wants because your weapon is tied up. If I put the buckler down, same thing. I can do the same thing even better with the larger shield. With the larger shield, I don't even need to use my sword, right? I don't need to use my sword to first catch the weapon and then trap it. Okay. What I can do is, I can throw a strike there towards the leg and just as a distraction, come in, trap with my my shield, and now that their weapon is, caught up, I'm free to attack anywhere I want. Naturally there are ways to get out of it, but they have to use up fencing times to get out of that trap. So as far as the long point goes with the large shields, you don't want to use it. Okay, so this is an instance where where something works works good with a smaller buckler, but does not work well with the larger shield. You don't want to stand in long point. If anything, if you want to present point, you can use the use the 6th ward where you're back here, because now basically it's a bit harder to trap my sword against my shield. If I present the blade out here, it's a lot easier to trap it against my shield. So with this type of a shield, I don't go to long point. I basically, I use what they call an absence of blade, or blade absence. I don't want to go blade to blade. I want to basically be attacking at openings, generally avoiding their sword and just attacking at openings. Okay, so that's how I fight with the sword and shield. So that's my thoughts on long point with the shield. You generally want to avoid it and attack the man, not the blade. which is kind of the opposite of what you do with the sword and buckler. You know, you need to basically, you need to close lines. We will typically go blade to blade and then fight from there. So some thoughts for you guys to think about. If you have any comments, any counter videos, please link them to my comment section. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a member, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.